stretch and de-stress. Today, I want us to get started on our backs. So I'm going to have you slowly lower down all the way to your back. And we're going to bring the soles of the feet together and just let the head rest heavy. I want you to bring your left hand up to your heart and your right hand to your lower belly. And take a big deep breath. If you feel comfortable enough, close the eyes. We're going to settle in for just a few minutes to start class. Really allowing ourselves to relax. Take a couple of big, deep cleansing breaths in through the nose and sigh it out of the mouth. Maybe you just focus on the breath so that your mind doesn't wander too far. You want to take this first few moments of class to just relax and connect to our body so that we can have a better stretch session. Maybe follow the breath as it enters and exits. And maybe you just pay attention to the way the body moves with the inhales and exhales. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat underneath your left fingertips. Maybe you're just feeling the sensations of this stretch. Just want you to take these first few moments to tune into your body and tune everything else out. If you need deep breaths, take them. Give yourself this time, just relax. And if that stretch is too much and it's distracting you from connecting with that breath and finding relaxation, just let the legs go long. Let's bring the arms up overhead and relax them to the mat. Maybe you lengthen the legs out all the way, let the feet fall open. Good. Let's reach the arms long and take a big stretch in opposite directions. Arching the back. Really reach the fingers and the toes. Good. Slowly draw the knees into the chest. Now you can keep your eyes closed for as much of class as you can to stay connected to your body and these stretches and your breath. And if you need to, open the eyes. Take a slow rock side to side, massaging the low back into your mat. And then we'll let the feet come back down to the mat. We're just going to let the knees fall over to the left, shifting onto that left hip. Try to keep your chest open to the ceiling and then reach your right arm out to a T. I'm going to take a couple of rounds of breath here. Letting the knees fall to the left. I typically tell you where you're going to feel these stretches, and today I would like for you to really connect to your own body and just acknowledge where you're feeling the stretch. Good, let's lift the knees up, come onto your back, and then we'll rotate the knees, let them fall to the right. Bring that right arm in and let that left arm come out to a T. Very good. Let's roll onto your back. Bring the knees into the chest. One more time. And then we'll slowly bring the feet to the mat and start to roll up into a seat. Once we get to that seat, we're going to take a cross-legged position. Take your time getting there. And once you get there, find that spot that you can balance in. And then we'll bring the arms behind the back. We'll interlace the fingers, pull the arms close together and open up through the chest. Lift the chin and lift the arms away from the body just a little bit if you can. Just observe where you're feeling the stretch. Good, we'll bring the hands out in front. We'll interlace the fingers again. And we'll push the palms out, rounding the spine. Tuck the chin and find some space between the vertebrae. Good, let's do that one more time. Interlace the fingers behind your back, pull the arms close together and open up the chest. Good, one last time. We'll interlace the fingers in the front, round the spine, tuck the hips under and pull the chin to the chest. Very good. Let's lengthen both legs out into a straddle. Take your time getting there. Doesn't need to be super wide. Just find a spot where you can stretch the inner thighs. We'll sit tall and then we'll walk the hands forward to fold. Maybe you close the eyes and stay connected to this stretch or continue to follow your breath. As you find some space, maybe you walk the hands a little bit further. Let's slowly walk the hands in and bring the legs back into that cross-legged position, giving those adductors a little bit of a break. And we're going to pull the shoulders up to the ears. Inhale. And then slowly exhale, round the shoulders back and down. Again, lift the shoulders up and take a big deep inhale. Exhale as you pull the shoulders back and down. Good. We're going to bring our right hand behind our head and our left hand out to the side. Take a lean. We're going to take a gentle side body stretch down the right side of the body. Hold it here. If you're not finding a stretch there, maybe come down to the forearm. Give the body a moment to stretch. Then I want you to start to pull that elbow back, opening up the chest towards the ceiling. So a nice shoulder stretch, maybe a chest opener, twist in the spine. Good, we'll sit tall. Reach the right arm long and bring that left hand behind the head. Find that side body stretch first by really leaning to the right. Lifting that elbow up towards the ceiling. Find that side body stretch first. Once you find it, just hold. And then when you're ready, slowly open that chest up towards the ceiling. Pulling that elbow back. And just observe all the sensations you could be feeling. The stretch, the twist, maybe the struggle to hold this position. Good, let's bring it down. We're going to bring the arms up, take a big deep inhale. Arch the back, we'll take a little back bend, and then we'll open up the arms and turn to the right. Bring that right hand down behind you. Press the palm into the floor and help sit up nice and tall. Find a twist, looking over the right shoulder. Really turn the head, facing that right shoulder, and find a stretch down the left side of the neck. So lift the arms back up, take a big deep inhale, find that back bend. And then we're going to twist to the left. That left hand comes down behind you. Use it to find support for that tall spine. And then turn the neck to meet the left shoulder, finding a stretch on the right side of the neck. Very good, bring it back to center. We're going to gently unfold the legs and take it back to that straddle. Toes point up, doesn't need to be wide, just find the stretch on the inner thighs and walk the hands forward. Maybe close the eyes for a second if they're not already. And settle into this stretch. If you find more space and can come down to the forearms, that's great. It's not about how far you go, just find your best stretch and hold. Keeping the spine long, keeping the neck in line with the spine. Don't take the eyes towards the back. Keep the neck nice and long. Good, now we're going to sit tall. And I want you to bring your right hand behind you. And I want you to sit your weight into that right palm. We're going to lift the hips just a little bit and reach the left arm up and back. Good, you don't have to lift very far. If you don't lift at all and you just reach the hand and stretch, that's great. We'll come back forward, find that fold. Take a couple of breaths in this stretch position. Good, and then we'll take it back up. Bringing that left hand behind you. Now maybe you don't let the hips leave the floor. You just lean back, bending that left elbow, reaching the right arm behind you. Find a stretch on the front side of the body. Very good. Take it to that fold one last time. The longer we hold the stretch, the more relaxed those muscles become. So if you're super tight here, maybe you stay for a couple more rounds of breath. Very good. Bring it up to a seat. Slowly bring the legs in. And then we're going to lean on our left side. I want you to take a modified side plank. We're going to let that bottom knee stay down to the ground. That top leg is going to come out long. We're just going to push up to that knee. We're going to find a side body stretch here. Reach that right arm high. Push the hip up and forward, and then reach that right arm to the floor, finding a big stretch from the right fingertips all the way to the right toes. You'll hopefully feel that stretch all the way from the arm, down the sides, into the hip, maybe into the low back. Hold that side body stretch. Very good. We're going to walk our hands out in front and continue walking them. We're going to turn towards that right leg, turning this into a hamstring stretch. You're going to pull the right toe back towards your face, pull the hips back, lengthen the spine, and find that stretch on the back of the right leg. Once you find that stretch, just hold. Once you get there, maybe you close the eyes and tune in to that stretch. Good, we'll plant that right foot, straighten out that left leg, and we'll take this into a hip flexor stretch on the left. We're going to let that left hip melt towards the mat. Bring your right palm to your right knee and just turn yourself to look over the right shoulder. Again, paying attention, observing where you're feeling the stretch. Good, let's straighten that right leg again. We're going to walk our hands back around, turning forward. And sit back, taking the hip all the way to the heel. The toe points up. Again, finding an adductor stretch. When we take a full straddle, one side might be more tight than the other, and that might limit the stretch on one side. So we're going to take that single adductor stretch on that right inner thigh. Good, we'll bring that right knee in to meet the left, take a tabletop position, and we're just gonna take some spinal waves to stretch out to the back. So we'll lift the belly up and in, round the spine, and then slowly dip the belly down and lift the hips. Good, again, pull the belly up and in, tuck the hips under, tuck the chin. And then slowly drop the belly towards the mat, lift the hips high, maybe pull the chin up.
Good, let's do one more of those. Pull the belly in, round your back, tuck your chin, tuck your hips, separating through the shoulder blades, pressing that mid back up to the ceiling. And then when you're ready, drop the belly, lift the hips, and lift the chin. Good. This time we're gonna take that left leg out to the side long. We're gonna walk the hands over to the right and take that modified side plank with the right knee down, the left leg long, the left hand reaches up to the ceiling. Now maybe you find your side body stretch right here. Keep the neck in line with the spine. We don't want the head drooping down by the arm. And then if you'd like, you can lower that left arm, reaching for the right side of the room, finding that nice deep side body stretch on the left. Good, we're gonna walk the hands forward, rounding the spine. Continue to walk them until we go over, facing the left. Take your time getting into this position. That left toe presses up towards the ceiling and we find a stretch behind that left leg. Keep the spine long and keep the neck in line with the spine. I don't need you to touch your chest or your forehead to your knee. We just want to find that hamstring stretch and hold. Pull the hips back, lengthen through the spine, and observe that stretch. Very good. We'll plant that left foot, walk the hands to the inside, and lengthen out through the right leg. Letting that right hip sink towards the mat, finding that hip flexor stretch. Maybe you let that left knee kind of fall out to the side as you sink into the right hip. Keep the neck nice and strong and long with the spine. The gaze is forward above your mat. Sink into that hip. Let's bring our left palm up to our left knee and find a little twist, looking over to the left shoulder. Take your time, don't force anything, and if you ever feel pain, just pull back and meet us in the next stretch. Good, plant the palms. Lengthen out through that left leg and let's walk the hands to the center. And we're going to sit the hips back to that right heel. Keeping the toe tucked, we'll stretch the bottom part of the foot. We'll stretch this left adductor. Very good. Let's bring that left knee to meet the right. Back to your tabletop position and we'll tuck both toes and sit the hips back towards both feet. Really press the palms into the mat to sit the hips as close as you can to the heels and maybe just shimmy the hips from the left to the right, stretching out behind the backs of both big toes. Good, now from here, we're gonna lift the hips up and walk the feet to meet the hands, taking a fold. We just stretch the hamstrings one side at a time. Now we're gonna stretch them together. Let the upper body be heavy. Maybe you grab on to opposite elbows. Find some space in the back. Maybe shake out the head and neck. Good. Release if you had a hold on the elbows. Point the toes out and sit low and slow into a deep squat. Lift the chest. Press the palms together and bring the elbows to the insides of the knees. We'll pull the shoulders down and we'll draw the chin to the chest. Stretching out to the back of the neck. And then we'll tilt the head to the left. Good. Slowly roll the chin back to the chest. And then roll the head over to the right. Finding a stretch on the left side of the neck. Keep pressing the palms together, driving the elbows to the insides of the knees. Settling into this hip stretch, this hip opener. Good. Bring the hands down to the mat. Lift the hips and take that fold. Point the toes forward. Relax the upper body. Maybe this time you wrap the forearms around the calves and pull your chest closer to the legs. Good. We'll bring the hands to the mat. And we're going to turn our left foot out and step our right foot back just a little bit. We'll fold over that left leg. Both feet are flat to the floor. Find that stretch behind the left leg. Keep the spine nice and long, reaching the head for the left side of the room. And then we'll take a big step back with that right foot and draw that right hip towards the mat. Keep your right palm down on the ground and sink into the right hip. Let's reach the left arm up and then pull it back, opening up the chest to the ceiling. Good, and then we'll bring it down. Straighten out that left leg again. This time, that right foot is still back a little bit further. The heel is off the mat. Reach the head for the left side of the room. Really stretching out through the hamstrings today. Good, and then we're going to walk the hands forward. This time we're going to be in a fold, but our legs are going to be wide. We're going to be in a straddle and really sink the crown of the head towards the floor. Good. We'll lift and walk the hands over to that right foot, turning the feet to the right side of the room. From here, we'll slowly bend that left knee just a little bit, sink that left hip towards the mat as we bend the right, sinking into this hip flexor stretch. Maybe let that right knee fall out to the side just a little bit. And then we'll lift that right arm high and pull it back, opening up the chest to the ceiling. Good. Straighten out through both legs and step that left foot up a little bit to where both feet are flat onto the mat. The crown of the head will reach for the right side of the room as we find that stretch in the back side of that right leg. Good. We'll walk the hands back to the center of the room, point the toes forward. And again, take that fold in the straddle position. Let the crown of the head reach for the floor. Very good. Bring the hands down to the floor. We'll step the feet together and then step the feet back to come in to a tabletop. We're going to untuck the toes and sit the hips to the heels, stretching out through the tops of the feet. Now you can keep the palms to the floor in front of you, or you can walk the hands back and sit up nice and tall. I'm going to walk my hands back. Pull your shoulder blades close together and sit nice and tall. Close the eyes. Reach the crown of the head up to the ceiling. Taking a moment to let the tops of the feet stretch out. We'll bring our left hand down to the floor behind us and reach our right hand up and back. You can lift the hips if you'd like, press them forward. Finding a front body stretch. We're not going to stay there long. We'll sit up tall. And then we'll bring our right hand down and reach the left arm up. Now you can keep the hips connected to the heels, reaching that left arm back, or you can press the hips up and slowly lower. We're going to take a pose that's going to stretch our quads, and it may be difficult for you, and if it is, take a second and pull back and join us in the next stretch. If you can separate the knees just a little bit. Now maybe you have a towel or a book or something you can sit on to take some pressure off, or maybe you can just sit a little bit on the heels. If that's uncomfortable for you, bring the knees close together and sit the hips to the heels that way. It takes a lot of pressure off. We're going to walk the hands behind us, pointing the fingers to the back of the room. I should say to the left side of the room. Take a second to get comfortable here. You're going to pull your shoulder blades together and let your chest lift up towards the ceiling. Take a second to observe where you feel your stretch. And then slowly, if you can, maybe you walk the hands out to the side. We're going to slowly start to stretch out the quads and slowly lower down to the floor if you can. If that does not work for you, stay right here. Squeeze the hips And you'll feel the stretch go down the front of the legs. Continue to lift the heart up. Squeeze the hips. Now this is going to be a modified version of this stretch. You can hold it here. And if you were able to separate the knees and sit closer to the floor, and I'm not sure if I can get there. Tops of my feet are pretty tight. You'll want to work your way back to coming down to the forearms in this position. I can't make it, I'm not there. Wherever you are, find your stretch and just hold. And when you're ready, you can walk the hands back out in front. Bring it to a tabletop and let's slowly tuck the toes. Be gentle on the tops of the feet and the fronts of the ankles. They just had a very intense stretch. We'll press the hips to the heels and maybe take a little rock side to side. Very good. We're going to bring the legs out in front. And slowly make your way down to your back. Slowly roll all the way down. We're going to pull the knees into the chest, lifting the hips off of the mat. Take the knees wide so you can pull them close to the sides of the body, lifting the hips a little bit higher than when we did this at the beginning of class. Maybe circle out the ankles, one direction and then the other. Then I want you to reach for the bottoms of the feet and lift the soles of the feet towards the ceiling. As you do that, you'll move the knees closer to the mat. Open up the hips. Good. Let's draw the soles of the feet together in that butterfly position that we started with. Grab on to the sides of the feet or the toes. Find the connection there. Let the knees fall out. I've got my fingers interlaced, holding on to the toes of both feet as the soles of my feet touch. Just try to relax. Good. Slowly release that. Bring the feet to the mat. And we'll walk the feet out until we feel the sides of the mat under both feet. Once we're there, I just want you to windshield wiper the knees from the left to the right. Good. Now we'll take the knees to the left and just let them lay there for just a moment, keeping the shoulder blades connected to the mat. Maybe you connect your palms to your rib cage for a few rounds of breath. Good. We'll lift the knees up towards the ceiling, and then we'll take the knees to the right, letting them rest to the right for a couple of breaths.
Very good. Bring it back to center. We're gonna let our right leg go nice and long. We're gonna pull the left knee into the chest. And then we'll slowly let that left knee cross the body, coming into a twist, rolling onto your right hip. And I want you to straighten out that left leg. If you can hold on to the shin, the calf, the foot, maybe just the thigh, wherever you can find a connection. We want to let that leg go long and find the stretch go down the outside of that left leg. Open up that left arm and find a twist. Try to relax. Very good. Slowly bend that left knee and let's roll onto our backs. Pulling both knees into the chest. Take the knees out wide and then pull them in. Wrap the forearms around the knees if you can. Take a slow rock side to side. We'll keep that right knee into the chest and let the left leg go long. And then we're going to cross the right knee over the center, rolling onto that left hip. Now, once we get there, I want you to straighten out that right leg and make that connection, whether you're holding the thigh, the calf, or up at the toe. Open up that right arm to a T. We'll be here for a few rounds of breath. Very good. Let's bend that right knee. Roll onto your back. And we'll pull the knees into the chest. This time, bring the forehead up to meet the knees and just get into the tiniest of ball that you can. Squeeze yourself into this tiny ball. Give yourself a big hug. And then we're going to let the legs go long. Let the feet fall open. We're going to go right back to where we started, bringing the left hand up to the heart and the right hand onto your belly. We're going to just take a few moments here to relax and breathe. Close the eyes if you can. And if you need deep breaths, take them. And just take a moment to observe every sensation that might be flowing through your body. Staying tuned in by acknowledging all the sensations you've got going on right now. Your face might be warm. Your palms might be warm. You might be feeling tingling sensations in the fingers, the toes. Soften the face. Soften the shoulders. Completely relaxing the arms, the hips, and the legs. Observing your breath for just a few more moments. Let's reach the arms up overhead and take a big stretch. Arching the spine. Reach the arms up. And then we're just going to start to roll onto our side. But I don't want you to stop there. I want you to roll all the way onto your belly. Stack your palms and let your favorite cheek rest to the top of your hands, keeping your eyes closed or closing them for just a few more moments. Good. We'll lift our head from the palms. Pull your palms back underneath your shoulders and slowly peel your upper body off the mat. Take a big deep breath, stretch out to the front side of the body. And then we'll lift the hips up. We'll tuck the toes and lift into a down dog. And slowly walk the hands or to meet the feet, or walk the feet to meet the hands. Take that fold for 1 second. And then we'll slowly, one vertebrae at a time, roll all the way up. Bring the arms up overhead. Take a big, nice back bend, stretch it out. And then just slowly let the arms come down. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for stretch and de-stress. I'll see you next time.